All right, welcome back. We are down here at the Mid-South Regional Tournament, the Centennial celebration of American Legion Baseball, and joined today by Mr. Pat Doyle and Hunter, how do you say your last name?
Scoggins.
Scoggins. So, Pat, you got some experience in baseball that
A little bit.
kind of carries over, right?
Yeah. No, I played American Legion my freshman and sophomore year of high school.
Okay.
And actually where Missouri State, where I ended up signing, is where they saw me play for the first time.
And when you were playing there, what area did you play out of? Because I know like they have their own down here in Washington.
So I was I played for the Oakville Legion team.
Okay.
Yep. Not down in South County.
Does that still exist?
Still there. Yeah.
Okay.
St. Louis Legion's kind of is a little different than what it used to be.
Yeah, tell us a little about that, because you were explaining to us a little bit off camera.
With how big St. Louis is, I mean, there's like every little municipality within St. Louis had its own Legion team. So like Oakville covered Melville, Oakville, pretty much like school districts had their own Legion team. And back then, there wasn't this organized like select baseball. There wasn't all these organizations like there are today. You know, there's probably 30 organizations now within St. Louis. And so now that's
County and city?
Yeah, and that's where all the top players are wanting to go play for them, because you're playing in all these big tournaments and traveling all over the place, and it's year round. So like Legion is usually just summertime.
Okay.
And so with these organizations, it's year round training, and you're usually going and playing in tournaments in front of a bunch of scouts. And so within St. Louis, a lot of the good players are playing there, and then Legion kind of gets what's left over. So it's not I don't think you'll see a team from St. Louis playing for a championship like this.
Yeah, and these are from all over the states.
Yeah.
So like we got Arkansas out here today, Louisiana, Oklahoma.
Right. So they might not have the organizations in those areas like we do in St. Louis. Mm-hmm. So the best players are playing for their Legion team. Because I mean, we played for the team that I coach. We would go to these tournaments on the weekends, and there would be Legion teams there, and they were phenomenal. So like it just depends on where you're at, what area you're in, and
what your choices are.
Yeah, what your choices are.
Did you play any ball growing up, or just?
I just played basketball and I hunted and fished, and I didn't play. I wasn't too big into sports. Yeah.
So and the reason you're joining us today is because you are with a company called Intrepid. Right?
Correct. Intrepid Defense. We're out of Blaine, Missouri.
Blaine, Missouri. And tell us a little about what led up to Intrepid, because you've got a military background, and thank you for your service.
Thank you for your support.
And how'd you get into this?
So I am from 5th Special Forces Group out of Fort Campbell, Kentucky. During my time, I was there at a unit called A15. It was the 5th Group CRIF. And one of my teammates, Alex Jones, his brother, Tony Jones, they were starting this range up, and they said, would I be interested in joining? Because I was coming around the time that I'd be getting out. I was like, yeah, sounds pretty cool to me. And so me and Alex being teammates was what got my foot in the door. Now we've been doing this for about a year. We've been getting the land ready and pushing dirt around, and I'll drive out here on the weekend, hop on a piece of machinery and move some dirt. And now we're at the point where we've opened, and about 3 weeks ago, so we're in our infancy stages, but that's how we get started.
And what do you guys offer at Intrepid?
So we have everything from civilian law enforcement and military training. And if you come as a civilian, we can teach you anything from, hey, I've never picked up a pistol before. We get you shooting, and then all the way up to competition prep. If you want to go shoot competitions on the weekend or just for fun, we can do that. We also have long gun, which is what I prefer the most. I have the most passion about precision long range shooting. So we can get you out there shooting out to 1,000 or plus, and we can get you out there on probably within a day. I think you get anybody on 1,000.
And when you're saying 1,000, for those of us, 1,000 yards.
Yep.
Yeah. Good deal.
So we can shoot out to about 1,250 on our property, and then we have everything from moving targets for long range stuff, all kinds of steel that we can have either hidden or unknown distance, known distance ranges, and off of all sorts of positions, shooting into and out of cars, and all kinds of weird barriers and stuff to shoot off of.
Cool.
Yeah.
Did you ever do any shooting?
I mean, I've got my conceal and carry, so I probably need to get back to the range. It's been a minute since I've been. busy with life. So, but yeah, no,
Well, we were talking yesterday. We'll get us guys out there and
that'd be fun.
make some content. And
That'd be fun.
Absolutely.
he's a bit of a specialist himself because when you play baseball, you're a pitcher,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like the snipers of baseball.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you got a very small target to hit too, right?
Yeah.
I just throw it right down the middle. That's probably why I didn't last very long. But yeah, just throw it right down the middle.
What was your specialty pitch?
I mean, every pitcher should say their fastball. I mean, I did growing up and all the way through college was my fastball. I could run it up there pretty high. And then once I got to college, they showed me how to throw a cutter. So just my fastball would run. So I was a right-handed pitcher, so it would run arm side. So it wasn't straight. It would just have a little bit of run to it. So to offset that, they taught me a cutter, which would come in and go the opposite way. And then I had a really good changeup.
So you're probably really good at throwing a wiffle ball.
No, I'm actually terrible.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Because isn't like a cutter the wiffle ball thing?
Oh, no. That's throwing a wiffle ball is way different. I played in a tournament with Zach.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I was awful.
Were you?
Awful. It took me a while to figure out how to throw it. Once I figured it out, I was okay. But it's completely different.
Okay.
Yeah. It took me a while to get the spin. It was really, I could make that thing move.
Yeah.
But I just was like, you know what? I just need to figure out how to throw this thing straight. And then I'll be fine. So, but no, yeah, wiffle ball's tough. That's a tough sport to play.
So with let's talk a little bit about what things have changed in both sports, because there is a huge sporting component to long range shooting now, right?
Yep.
Shooting in general, right? There's just all sorts of different.
Yeah.
Shooting sports itself is blowing up. I mean, it's growing every year, and more people, I can't tell you how many people. Now, I'm in special operations, and I go somewhere, and that's who people expect to go to these competitions. But I show up, and I might get my butt handed to me by some dentist or whatever. That they're like, yeah, I just wanted to get into it. And so you'd be surprised by what kind of people come out, all age and gender and race and whatever you like to do. People can come out there and find something fun. You just got to find your niche. Like some people like doing the 3-gun stuff. I haven't dipped my toes into that. I'm sure I'd love it, but
What guns are a part of the 3-gun?
so you have a pistol, carbine, and shotgun.
Okay.
Is 3-gun. I've seen all sorts of different competitions. There's a 4-gun comp that some buddies of ours up in Kentucky, they were running, and that's pretty interesting. But that just includes the long gun with all that.
I helped a former veteran buy a house, and he's big into the competitions, and he's very well decorated when it comes to these competitions. And
Yeah.
he does a lot of them, and that was part of the reason he bought the property that he did, because he came with a bunch of acres, and he was putting his own gun range and stuff on his property.
Yeah.
So I was like,
You don't have
that was
to.
pretty cool.
You don't have to be like a hunter or even like a special operations dude. It doesn't matter. Like, it's fun, and you can find your niche with any kind of shooting sports. I know we were talking to somebody here yesterday that their kid was like really into. Their school provided a trap team, like shooting clays.
Okay.
And I was like, man,
Really?
I wish I had
That's
that growing up. That would have been awesome.
That 3-gun thing. Have you seen that video of Keanu Reeves training for John Wick?
Yeah.
That's a 3-gun competition.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some of you may have seen the video. Keanu was like a real life badass.
No, I know he is. The dude's he's one of my favorite actors.
He really did
He's
that
incredible.
stuff. Like
Yeah.
all that stuff you see in John Wick. Like those are not
He had
easy
good
motions.
mechanics. Yeah. He had good mechanics.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the name of the place that he went out to, and it's whatever. I can't remember this.
Because they have like different stations set up. So he would take his pistol, right, and then he sets his pistol down, picks up his carbine, and
Yep.
then you go to the shotgun. Is the other one?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. But
And
that's pretty impressive.
oh yeah, it's not easy either. But
You guys do that down there?
we haven't hosted any 3-gun yet, but I hope to in the future. I want to get
You
my
have the capability.
yeah, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, we got so we have 11 pistol carbine ranges, and 3 of them are XL. Like they're huge, like 75 yards deep by 50 yards wide. They're big, and we can plant cars on them and do. I like the idea of training vehicle breakout drills and stuff.
Okay.
Because it's something with work that if you were to get ambushed or something, not as likely for civilian stuff, but it is fun to get somebody shooting out of glass or.
Well, you're new to Missouri here, but we live pretty close proximity to St. Louis City.
It is a possibility there, yeah.
The possibility of getting carjacked is never zero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But on these XL bays, we can park cars in them, and you can shoot into and out of vehicles. But that had nothing to do with 3-gun, so I apologize. But yeah, we can facilitate any kind of competition.
How do you think we can incorporate a baseball style competition, maybe like a strike zone shooting. You could do a target the same size as a strike zone
Okay.
and have the competition be like you and Pat throwing balls first.
Okay.
However many, like out of 20, hit
Yeah.
the strike zone versus a shooting who's hitting center mass.
I can come up with
Fine.
something.
I can do that.
Yeah.
That could be pretty fun.
I
Yeah.
can step on the mound right now and throw strikes.
I think you were telling me you were not too long ago. You were back out there.
Yeah, so I threw
Showing
against,
the boys how to throw a heater,
Yeah,
right?
so my after a few drinks with the parents,
Yeah.
after one of our games, we were like, our hotel was literally right outside the fence of the complex we were playing at, and so the boys were over messing around on one of the fields, hitting and throwing, and we're just like, why don't you go throw to them? I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it. So I did. I went and dominated their asses.
There's in some of these competitions that I've done recently, there's an aspect of like you have to achieve some non-shooting task to give you rounds to shoot for that stage.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So like you could throw, if however many balls you put down in the strike area, then that is how many rounds that you're awarded to potentially score on a target.
Okay.
So you
Well,
can
then
set
let's
something
do
up like
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You and I both throw strikes,
That'd
and
be
then
cool.
however many strikes we throw, that's how many shots we get.
Yeah.
Into the target.
Yeah, that'd be
I think some of the things you do with baseball may not be as safe, though, to do with weapons. Because I know there's a game in baseball where I've seen a lot on the internet where you like spin in circles around on the bat,
Yeah.
and then you lift up and try and hit the ball.
Well,
But I don't think you can do that with a rifle.
No. That's
Yeah,
with a
maybe not.
beer can.
Oh, okay.
You cut the bottom off of a wiffle ball bat, fill
Yeah.
it with the beer, chug the beer out of the wiffle ball bat, and then however long it took you to chug that beer, it's how many times you got to spin it.
Okay.
And then they throw you the can and you got to hit it. It's
So
called
not-
Louisville Chugger.
Louisville Chugger. So not probably the same thing. Probably
No.
wouldn't go over well with a
No.
Louisville wind slugger.
Yeah, maybe not as conducive
No.
to
Yeah.
shooting.
No, or maybe I'll just chuck up some baseballs and let him shoot the baseball.
There you
Like
go.
Clay's.
Yeah.
That's a fast moving target.
Or you
If he's
see,
throwing 80 miles
No,
an
I'm
hour-
just going to throw it like up in the air, like
Okay.
at a high arc. That's not going to be very fast.
All right.
He can.
You're just chucking them.
I'm just chuck him in the air and let him shoot him.
so what are the dimensions? What is the diameter of a baseball?
9 inches, or like, yeah, they're not very big.
In circumference, maybe?
Maybe. Well, hold on, let's see.
Not 9 inches.
It's probably 3 inches, right? Or maybe a little less, like 2.5 or
It's
something.
the size of a baseball.
Hey
Yeah.
Siri,
So,
what's,
size of a baseball.
what's the what?
It's about the size of a baseball.
Hey Siri, what's the dimensions of a baseball?
Because
A
you could
regular
do it-
baseball is 9 to 9.25 inches in circumference.
Circumference.
Yeah,
So the diameter would be about 3.
diameter is about 3 inches.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's about 3 MOA at 100. And so what you could do is that you could move
What's
that.
MOA?
An MOA is roughly a shooter MOA is an inch at 100 yards.
Okay.
So it's a unit of angular measure. So the further it goes out, the further you get out away from your origin.
You got to drop.
Well, no,
Bullet drops, right?
Yes, correct. But this is just a unit of measurement.
Okay.
So an MOA at 100 is 1 inch. An MOA at 200 is 2 inches. So on and so on.
Okay.
And so you could take that baseball, and if you can shoot sub MOA, so less than an inch group at 100, then you're doing pretty good. But if you have a 3 MOA target, not so bad at 100. But you keep moving that further and further back, and if you get however many points you can score on a 3-inch baseball
Yeah.
out at distance, then maybe you could chalk up some sort of.
I
Maybe
feel
we'll
like
go with a
this or that.
softball.
Yeah,
I
maybe
feel
so.
like
Yeah.
the way you're explaining it for you might be a little bit different than for like Pat and I.
Yeah. It would
I
take
got
some.
it.
It would
I
take
got
some
what he's
drawing
putting
out.
down.
I got what he's putting down, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know that. I'll speak for myself. I don't know that I'm hitting a 1 inch
Oh, there's
target
no
at 100
way.
yards.
I think we could get to there
We can maybe get me there.
with proper
But I'm not
fundamentals. It's not
walking
that
onto the
bad.
shooting range and hitting
Yeah.
an inch.
Well, that's just all fundamentals.
Especially
we can
while
get
it's
anybody
moving.
there.
Huh?
Especially while it's moving.
Yeah.
Well, just like the
Well,
mechanics.
we'll
of
set him
throwing-
up like an egg.
Yeah.
just like the mechanics of throwing a baseball. Like you can't just get out there and hurl it and be good at it. You have to learn the mechanics and the fundamentals of it.
Sure.
Just like that. Probably not as complicated, but you can get down as long as you practice the correct fundamentals. You can get somebody who's never shot before shooting pretty tight, as long as they're practicing the right fundamentals.
What about fundamentals with training in baseball? Because I know I was talking to some of these guys earlier. I've been coaching for years, and we were talking about the difference in recovery, preparation, training. Because I just watched
so different now.
I watched a video of a kid the other day, and you may have seen this. He's 16 years old, and he's throwing 99 miles an hour.
yeah.
Holy cow!
And it's not as uncommon as it used to be.
No. Well, so here's the thing with that. radar technology has gotten so much better.
Yeah.
Than I've got an article that I can send you if you wanted to post it on the video. But essentially, so these radar guns are so advanced now, they're getting the ball as they release it. So it's like right out of their hand.
Oh, wow.
Physics, by the time you release the ball and it crosses home plate, loses about 9 miles an hour.
Wow.
So when I was playing, these guns were picking it up about halfway to home plate.
Okay.
So like
You're losing some
trajectory. It's slowing down. Yeah. So like when they say Nolan Ryan threw the hardest fastball ever at 109 miles an hour, they're basically saying that when his pitch crossed home plate, it crossed home plate at 100 miles an hour. When he released it, it was 109.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So like.
So they're using math to figure that out.
Correct. Correct.
Everything.
And so like if you want to look at it, I mean, I threw like 1 or 2 pitches at 98, but I would pitch 94, 95, and that's back when they were picking the ball up about halfway to home plate. So in today's game, that might look like 98, 99 miles an hour. Like I watch videos of some of these guys. Like I was watching some MLB historic clips on social media last night, and it was Roy Oswalt and Clemens when they were with the Astros, and it was showing Roy Oswalt's very first strikeout, and it was at 94, and that thing looked faster than some of these 100-mile-an-hour pitches that you see in today's game. Roger Clemens was sitting like 96, 97, and it way faster than what you're seeing in today's game. So I just think the technology's gotten better. So a lot of kids like that. I mean, so everybody in the major leagues throws in the mid to upper 90s now. No, it's just the advancement in radar technology has gotten so much better that they're just picking it up sooner. Now, I will say the training is way different.
Yeah.
You don't see too many David Wells out there anymore.
Sure.
I don't know if you guys.
Is David Wells the sinker guy that comes out from the side?
David Wells was a big fat lefty that pitched for the Yankees who threw a perfect game hungover.
It's John Daly of baseball.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Or the Babe Ruth of baseball.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like you don't see guys.
He was mowing down like hot dogs and beers before games.
I think like Kyle Schwarber might be the
performance.
closest person to an out of shape baseball player, and he's not out of shape. He's just big.
Yeah.
You know, it's just very rare that you see guys like the training that goes into it now. Guys are training so much harder. They're watching what they eat. Like that shit wasn't around. Like we didn't have that back then.
Recovery.
Yeah.
Right? You can pitch more games now than you probably used to be able
yes
to.
and no. I mean, I was fortunate. I always had a rubber arm. I could always bounce back pretty quick. That's why I was a very successful reliever in pro ball. But a lot of the stuff you're seeing now is this weighted ball and heavy ball stuff. And I think there's a purpose for it, but the way a lot of these people use it to train, you're seeing shoulder surgeries. You're seeing shoulder surgeries and elbow surgeries go up. I mean, there's been more Tommy John surgeries like just this year than there was in the entire decades of the 90s.
Yeah.
Because everybody's trying to throw as hard as they can, and their body just can't take it. But it all has to, I think it has a lot to do now. There's no scientific proof behind it, but logic, you think about it like, hey, this wasn't a thing back then. We didn't do those things. No one had Tommy John. Now this is getting more and more popular, and now there's more and more Tommy Johns. And you're throwing a heavier ball. You're putting more strain on those muscles. I just think that's causing a rise. Now, are kids coming out throwing harder? Yes. But I think there's other ways. I mean, I just long tossed. I just went on a football field with my buddy, and it was our goal from the time we got into high school, the time we graduated, that we could stand behind each field goal and throw it through both field
120
goals.
120 yards, yeah.
Yeah. And basically they say if you can throw 100 yards on a pretty good trajectory, you can throw 90 miles an hour. So we're like, if we can go 120 yards, we're going to be able to throw even harder. So that's what we did. And me and my buddy both had very, very strong arms, and that was all we did. We worked out, we lifted weights. I mean, eating wise and drinking, we were high school kids. We were on a limited budget. We went to Jack in the Box and dominated some 99-cent tacos and used the rest of the money to get a case of Natty Light.
Carbo loading is what they call it. So one thing about it is so my youngest son does a lot of quarterback training right now.
Yeah.
And one thing I always tell him, which I think this is probably a truism for both pitching and for shooting, and they say it all the time, right? Slow is smooth, smooth is fast.
Great.
Because there's a lot to be said about the finesse guys too. Like throwing hard, like you're saying, should be your fastball, but at the same time, like that could be somebody's downfall if you're throwing down the middle. So that finesse stuff doesn't come from pure power. That comes from from understanding the mechanics, working the mechanics, back to the basics.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, there's so many ways to throw a baseball, but if you look, you can put guys side by side. There's about 3 things that they all do the same, and that's preloading their weight on their backside.
Okay.
When they land and they're firing, they're coming to square, and one is getting balanced. They're very well balanced.
So what you're talking about here, just to be
when
clear,
they're pitching,
it's a full range of motion though.
Correct.
This is a body motion. Your powers doesn't come just from this unit.
correct.
This is a whole.
like full body incorporation.
You can't throw 100 miles an hour if you don't have the core and leg strength
Right.
to do so.
Same as boxing.
Right.
You're not throwing haymakers
exactly.
if you're just using your arms.
So like
your legs.
your power, the majority of your power when you throw a pitch, like I can look at a guy and see how he's throwing. I can be like, I can add 3 miles an hour to your fastball just by teaching you proper mechanics.
Okay.
Just by getting them to get to a point where they're balanced and they get that weight preset on their back leg to explode with as much power on that backside as possible, because that's what they do. You get balanced is number 1. Number 2, they're presetting the weight on that back leg, and they're like it's like a controlled fall where the weight's set on that back leg, and then when they go to throw, everyone gets to square. Everybody loves that picture where you see the pitcher from the side and they're like this and their arms like bent backwards at a 90-degree angle. Like they all get, like that's what they all get to.
Yeah.
And now whether it's they're here with it or their arms out here with it, like there's like even guys that are submarine guys, all they are is they're guys that would throw like this up, and all they did was tilt their body to the side. So a lot of the stuff but like how they get to that may be different, but those are like the 3 key things that they all do that allow them to throw with power and throw strikes. Now strikes, I mean, the umpires have gotten a lot tighter in the strike zone, but there's still so many fucking walks in this game that it just drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So versus now that's a full body mechanic. Now when you're talking about getting someone shooter ready, in that sense, how much of that is breathing? How much of that is something that's maybe just a practiced technique of what just happens here to here, right? Because there's a lot that goes in with is breathing a heavy conditioning part of shooting when you're talking about long range shooting?
I'd say that it's definitely a part of it for sure. If you're not practicing good breath control or even minding where your breath is during a shot, it can throw it off for sure. But using your whole body is incorporating it almost like I'm talking mostly from a precision standpoint, but using your body as a shock absorber and letting it eat the recoil and maybe not glance off your shoulder and it's throwing your shot somehow, or it's how
and that's important when you're doing more than one shot.
Absolutely, yeah,
right?
Yeah. And how I'm managing that recoil, like how your body is taking that recoil, is also allowing me to watch my shot and hopefully watch my own trace of that round. So the vapor trail that comes off the bullet, I'm trying to catch that in my glass, and that has to be good enough fundamentals and like recoil control that I can watch that and hopefully maybe get data on that round before it even makes impact. So I know, I'm going to be off left side or whatever, or that I can at least watch my splash, so see where it impacts and make a correction from there.
Okay.
So using your whole body, for the same thing, maybe not as much as pitching. You're not having to, put so much muscle into it, but it is like, it's not just, eyeball and trigger finger.
How much of shooting is mental?
A lot of it. I think that
baseball, totally.
There's
mental.
definitely shooter IQ stuff.
Yeah.
Once you get the muscle memory down, and then it's here.
Yeah.
And then like when we start going into tasks like what I do at work, we do a lot of CQB, which is doing direct action raids on raiding houses and small apartment structures. All that, your shooting has to be second nature, so that's not what you're focusing on. Like I don't have to worry about where I'm going to be shooting because I've done it enough that I don't have to worry about the actual aspects of shooting. I'm trying to process everything else in the room. Or if it's long range shooting, I'm trying to process everything with a target and not really worried so much about pulling the trigger, because that's just practiced enough that should be muscle memory. But
so that's probably the same thing in pitching then, right? Because
you're not thinking about where your arm is probably.
Because you got to watch your bases, you got to watch your signals.
There's a lot going on that the mechanics just need to be second nature. That I've got kids that will work on the mechanics side of stuff, but I'm like, when it comes time to the game, just fucking go out there and throw.
Yeah.
Go out there and try and just execute the pitch that's being called, because Yogi Berra said it best. 90% of the game is is mental, the other half is physical.
Yeah.
You know, so
He wasn't a mathematician.
Yeah.
He was a baseball player.
yeah, he
But that's the actual quote, isn't it?
Yeah, it is the actual
yeah.
quote. Yeah. But no, baseball is so mental. Like I don't know anywhere else where you can fail 7 out of 10 times and be considered a Hall of Famer. You know,
Sure, yeah.
it's like you're gonna fail, and you're gonna fail a lot, and you have to be able to come back and bounce back from that. That I think there's maybe golf might be the only other sport that's close to that. But I mean, it's incredible, the mental fortitude and toughness that you have to be there. And like those guys that play in the big leagues, that's the biggest thing that separates. And once you get to AA, you're good enough to play in the big leagues. You've got the skill and the talent level. That's what separates people.
Well, and that's what your training all comes down to ultimately too, right? There's a lot of mental fortitude when you're talking about an infantry guy versus a soft team. That's a huge mental aspect, right? You guys go through a pretty arduous mental training with fortitude, right?
Yep. It's definitely a big part to getting to where I ended up. But yeah, having mental fortitude and just being able to grit it out. I knew some guys that were incredible athletes, way more athletically gifted than I, and maybe their head wasn't in it, or maybe they didn't have the right reason why, or whatever. And during training, maybe they washed out for something, and they were a better person on paper probably.
Yeah.
And but it just takes having a good reason why you're doing it, and just being able to just put your head down and grit it out.
So I think I thought of a good name for this competition that we're talking about.
Okay.
And I would like to seriously put this on the books so we can get it going, because that sounds amazing to watch you guys do that. I want to participate, but I want you guys to be the focus. You guys compete, because I throw a baseball terribly, and I'm not a great shooter. So competition between you guys, but I'll participate. The Randy Johnson tournament. And we end with a moving target that's covered in feathers.
Okay. We can do that.
There we go.
We have to explode it with a baseball in a round.
Okay. I got some ideas. I can put some stuff together.
How fast? So before I ask the closing questions, how fast do you think that ball, or do we know how fast that ball was going to explode that bird? How fast do you have to throw a ball to explode a
I mean, that
bird?
was towards the end of his career, I think. So I want to
Into
say
the bird's career too.
I think what?
80s?
No, that was probably mid 90s. He was still chucking it, man.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a big unit. He's incredible. He's
Yeah.
one of my favorite pitchers. Yeah. If I had to guess,
Was he
he's-
6'7"?
Yeah.
6'6",
Good
6'7"?
Lord.
yeah, he was probably. If I had to guess, that pitch was probably mid to upper 90s.
Okay.
Jeez.
He's a professional photographer now.
Really?
Yeah, he's like on the sidelines of NFL games. And
I wonder if
shit
he
like
got
that.
hooked with that image of the bird.
Well,
He's like,
instead of
so here's the
exploding
thing.
birds, now he's
Here's
just
that's
taking
his
pictures of
logo.
them.
That's the logo of his company.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is a big dude. I wonder if maybe it's like, because in my brain I was hoping it was 88 miles an hour, so it would be like same as Back to the Future. Like,
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
we got to get to 88 miles an hour. Kill this bird. So one of the things I like to do when I end the show is, and this is perfect for these two skill sets that you guys are. I would call you experts in it, because you've spent more than 11 years doing baseball, and you spent more than 11 years. And by definition, to be an expert in your field, it's 11 years. If you didn't know, they consider you an expert. So, what is a saying, phrase, or mantra that has kind of kept you going or keeps you going day to day and gets you to that mental fortitude portion?
Okay. I had one that I started using in selection, and it was brick by brick. And I could just say it over and over in your head. And a lot of, that was just a highly physical event. And so, you're just trying to grit something out. And you could just get in your head and just say brick by brick, stone by stone. And I would just repeat it. And that's still my mantra today now. So.
Brick by brick.
Yep.
I like that. That's actually a quick plug. We have a private barrel whiskey coming out, and the benefits are going to go back to rebuilding St. Louis, and it is titled Brick by Brick.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I didn't do that on purpose.
No,
but-
I know. He's not being paid for that. Plug.
No.
And then Pat, what would yours be, you think?
Control what you can control.
Control what you can control.
I love that.
Yeah, I like that, because there's been a lot of times I think that, and Pat and I have discussed different things about this kind of stuff before, but a lot of times in my life when I'm starting to feel chaotic, you go back to the basics, and you go back to, all right, I don't have control over this situation, but I can get down and do my push-ups. I can read something from the Bible. I can read a book. I can journal. I can do and then things start to fall in line again, right? So,
Yeah.
so control what you can control.
Yeah, I mean,
And brick by brick.
baseball is all mental. So I can control everything up until the point where the ball leaves my hand. I can't control what happens after that.
I
That
like
kind of
that.
go. Yeah, I like that too, because that goes into what you're talking about too. Like that ball's going to get hit sometimes, but if you're worried about every time it gets hit instead of what you're doing from here to here,
Right.
makes a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Hunter,
Sir, thank you.
Pat, thank you
All
guys.
right, nice chat with you, man. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
And we will see you guys next time. Thank you.